let me use synthetic division. Here I am going to use synthetic division. So for that, we already found one root x is equal to -1. I am writing here, and I'm writing the coefficients of term x from higher degree to lower degree term in a row like that. 1, -3. 1 is the coefficient of x cube, -3 is the coefficient of x square, and 0 obviously x is absent, so 0 is the coefficient of that x, and last term it is 4, which is written here. And I'm just dragging this one downward side and taking multiplication with this already found root, so -1 into 1, and writing this entry in the next column. So we are getting -1, and taking the addition of these two terms in the column, -3 -1, we get -4. Again same procedure, -4 into this -1, we are getting +4. Again take the addition, 0 plus 4, it is 4. Again 4 into -1, so -4, and after taking the addition we'll get 0. Now we have new factor starting with the x square, not from the x cube, because after finding the one root obviously degree gets reduced, so we will start with the x square. So this is the coefficient of x square, -4x, and this is the +4, and the remainder is 0 obviously. So we can see this is just the expansion of x minus 2 whole square, isn't it? X minus 2 whole square, it is nothing but the x square minus 4x plus 4, and that's why it is equal to x minus 2 whole square equal to 0, and that gives us two repeated root, that is x is equal to 2, 2, -1, which is already found by try and error method. So these are the three roots, out of which two are repeated and one is distinct. OK, so this is the method synthetic division. And even though if you don't know synthetic division, you're coming across problem while dealing with this synthetic division, obviously you can use calculator, you can take the help of calculator in case of examination as well. OK, so next very important topic that I want to start, and that is this the first point of this unit number 1, that is linear differential equation. Before that, do you have any doubt in synthetic division? Yeah, I am giving you 5 seconds to respond. Yeah.
So Vignesh here.
Yeah. Yes.
So I wanted to ask you about the power of the if we increase the power of that equation, for example, if it is the starting power is 4, okay, so
Okay.
still we can use the synthetic division.
Yes, yes, synthetic division is applicable to any polynomial having any degree. It is
Okay, sir.
applicable.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, but for that case, if you go beyond a third degree, obviously to find the roots is not an easy task. So for that case, obviously you will require
Okay,
software, so that using that software you can find. But for practice purpose and in case of examination, as far as the exam is concerned, we are not going to ask you higher degree terms. OK.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So the first point, mute everyone, mute yourself. The first point is linear differential equation. In that case, linear, what do you mean by linear differential equation? So let's start with the definition. We will understand the definition and then we will go towards some problems. A differential equation in which the dependent variable and its derivative occurs only in the first degree. Let me zoom it. A differential equation in which the dependent variable and its derivative occurs only in the first degree and not multiplied together is called as linear differential equation. Let us understand it step by step. A differential equation, that means it must include derivative term because of differential operator. Equation means what? It must have equal to sign, like this, equal to sign, that is equation, in which the dependent variable, that means it must include some dependent variable and the derivative of that dependent variable with respect to another variable. That another variable is nothing but the independent variable. So here in the example, first we can see d2y by dx square. Here dy by dx term is occur. Why? So y depends on x. So y is the dependent variable, whereas x is the independent variable. Okay, next what? And its derivative, okay, occurs only in the first degree. That means whatever the power of this differential operator, this operator dy by dx, d2y by dx square, y term, it has to be power 1. If power is more than 1, it is not called as linear differential equation. OK, so occurs only in the first degree and not multiplied together. Also, if there is a product of dependent variable like this y dy by dx, this term is also not acceptable in case of linear differential equation. So let us see the example so that you can understand the definition. 3 times d2y by dx square plus dy by dx plus y equal to 0. Look at this term. Every term having power. Power means what? Degree means what? The power of highest order, the derivative term. Okay, so highest order derivative term is d2y by dx square and its power is 1. So degree of this term is 1, degree of this term is also 1, and degree of this term is also 1. Okay, so this is a linear differential equation. But what about, look at the example number 5. There is a multiplication term y into d2y by dx square. So this is not acceptable in case of linear differential equation. This belongs to non-linear differential equation. Let us look second example. Here you might be wondering, sir, there is a product x square into d2y by dx square, but student, I am talking about the product of dependent variable and its derivative. I am not talking about the product of independent variable and derivative term. Here we can see x square is the independent variable, whereas y is the dependent variable. This product is acceptable in case of linear differential equation. You can see x dy by dx 3 times y, and right hand side, this time right hand side is the function of x only. So here function is explicitly it is 0. Here we can say exponential function, and this function includes only terms of x, terms of independent variable, not dependent variable. If there is a term something like 2 to the power x into y, that is also not acceptable in case of linear differential equation. So let me go through definition once again. A differential equation in which dependent variable and its derivative, you know that, occurs only in the first degree, so having degree 1, and not multiplied together is called as the linear differential equation. So let us see example number 3, d2y by dx square minus y is equal to e to the power x. Yes, it is linear differential equation. Example number 4, d cube y dx cube minus d square y dx square plus dy by dx minus 2y. Right hand side e to the power x plus cos x. That is also acceptable. So here in example number 1 and example number 4, we can see just the order gets changed. Here we can see the order of this whole differential equation is the 3, and the order of this equation example number 1 is 2. So order means what? How many times differential operator occurs. That is order of highest order derivative occurs in the given differential equation. That is nothing but the order of the given differential equation. You already studied this. What do you mean by degree? What do you mean by order of the given differential equation in engineering mathematics first course? Engineering mathematics second course. Okay, so let me give some examples of non-linear differential equation. Here we can see because of this product dependent variable and its derivative. So this is not acceptable in linear differential equation. So it belongs to non-linear one. Here we can see power is 2, but we want degree 1. So degree is not 1. Obviously degree of this individual term has to be 1. So but it is 2. So therefore it also belongs to non-linear. And what about this? What's the problem with this? Yes, there is a problem because look at the dependent variable y, its power is 2. That is also not acceptable. So this also belongs to non-linear differential equation. Okay, so are you understand the definition of linear and non-linear differential equation? Yeah, any doubt in this?
No, sir.
Are you clear with this, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
good.
sir.
Very simple definition. Very simple definition. And in case of linear differential equation, there can be a variable coefficient like this. Example number 2, x square x 3, or there can be a only constant coefficient, that is acceptable. But the product of this dependent variable and its derivative, that is not acceptable at all. And also the power of that individual terms, if it is bigger than 1, that is not acceptable. Here we can see power is 2, but it is for that independent variable, that is acceptable. Yeah. So this is about linear differential equation and some examples of linear differential equation. So let's move ahead. Next very important point is that linear differential equation with constant coefficients. What can you say about this? What about constant coefficients? Okay, so just we are just generalizing this linear differential equation. Here we can see an d to the power n y dx to the power n plus n minus 1 d to the power n minus 1 y dx to the power n, and so on up to a1 dy by dx plus a naught y is equal to f of x. Okay, let me signify all the notations. Here an minus 1 up to a1 a naught all are constant. Constant means what? They can be integer, they can be fraction, they can be any real number. These are all are constant because we are dealing with the particular type of linear differential equation having only constant coefficient. If you look at this differential equation number 1, here you can see only coefficients are constants, 3, and the coefficient of this term is 1, coefficient of this term is also 1. But whereas if you look example number 2, the coefficients are variable, x square, x, and some of them are constants. So we are not going to deal with this variable coefficients. We are going to deal with the only constant coefficients of having linear differential equation having only constant coefficient. So its a general form is an d to the power n y dx to the power n, and so on up to a naught y, and on the right hand side we have function of variable x only. So here I have written f of x, that means it has to be function of variable x only. If it includes dependent variable, then obviously it will not be a linear differential equation. So what about f of x? F of x can be any function. It can be a trigonometric function like sine, cos. It can be transcendental function. It can be polynomial, or it can be a mixture of some polynomial and trigonometric functions. So though no restriction on f of x, but it should not include dependent variable like y. Okay, so and rest talking about these constants, they are just constants. For our convenience, I'm just letting this operator d by dx is equal to capital D. Okay, so why this capital D? Why not other notation? I feel D stands for derivative, and this will be very useful notation because we are talking about the derivative. So why not to use capital D? So I am just using d by dx is equal to capital D, and in this expression 1, equation number 1, I am just replacing that operator d by dx by capital D. So rest of the things we will keep as it is. And so obviously d by dx is equal to d. That means d2 by dx square has to be equal to d square, and so on, isn't it? If d by dx is equal to d, then d2y by dx square has to be d square, like that. So look at the equation number 1. This it becomes an as it is, this constant an as it is, d to the power n, because we are just putting d by dx is equal to capital D. So it is d to the power n y plus n minus 1 d to the power n minus 1 y, the second term, and so on up to a1 d plus a naught here times y is equal to f of x. Now we can take y common. So I'm just taking y common. So we left with an d to the power n plus n minus 1 d to the power n minus 1, and so on up to a naught y is equal to f of x. Now we can see this term which is inside this bracket, it's look like a polynomial, but polynomial in terms of d, not in terms of x. Okay, so it looks like a polynomial. So obviously there is a relation between polynomial and its roots. So in case of differential equation, obviously we are going to find roots to get the solution. So to get the short notation of differential equation, I'm just putting phi of d is equal to the term which is inside this bracket. So I'm just letting phi of d is equal to an d to the power n plus n minus 1 d to the power n up to a1 d plus a naught. So we get very short form of short notation of the linear differential equation with constant coefficient as phi of d times y is equal to f of x. Okay, so this is very simple notation. Henceforth, we are going to use this notation that phi of dy is equal to f of x. Whenever it occurs there, you have to assume, you have to consider that phi of d is nothing but the differential operator. This is the combination of operator. So here a n d to the power n plus a n minus d to the power n, and so on. Okay, so are you understand up to this? We just got a very short notation of differential equation, linear differential equation with constant coefficient. We started with the general form, and talking about this n is nothing but the natural number. Okay, so like that example number 1, we have value of n is 2 because just the order n is 2, highest power. Here we can see order is 3, so n value of n is 3. We cannot say about this because this contains variable coefficient. What about this? Yes, value of n is 2. So this is just the order of that given differential equation, and it can be any natural number, but it cannot be fraction like that 1 by 2, 1 by 3 or negative number. That is not acceptable. Okay. Are you clear up to this? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Next important point, that is a solution of homogeneous differential equation. Homogeneous linear differential equation. This is the I suggest everyone to keep one pen and notebook with you. Whatever I am displaying here, important point, you have to note it down, and obviously it will help you. Like in a classroom, we used to use a notebook and pen, and similarly here, whatever I am displaying you just note it down, and later I will share the notes as well. Don't worry about that. So, but the best way to learn mathematics is to do the mathematics. So obviously you need to keep one pen and notebook with you while attending this lecture. Okay, so a solution of homogeneous linear differential equation. Now, what do we mean by homogeneous differential equation? If the right hand side, that is f of x, if you treat f of x as equal to 0, so we get what? Phi of dy equal to 0. It is called as homogeneous linear differential equation. So if the right hand side is equal to 0, no other function, then that kind of differential equation is nothing but the homogeneous differential equation. Now let me give one example. So we can see example number 1 here. 3 times d2y by dx square plus dy by dx plus y equal to 0. Right hand side is 0, and therefore it is referred as homogeneous differential equation. Okay, so we are going to find the solution of this only solution of homogeneous differential equation first, and in later case we will study how to find solution of non-homogeneous differential equation. If that f of x is not equal to 0, in that case differential equation is referred as non-homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficient. But here in the first case we are going to study how to solve homogeneous differential equation with constant coefficient. So homogeneous means right hand side has to be 0. Okay, so as you know, you already studied linear differential equation in case of engineering mathematics 2. So let me remind you that consider a linear differential equation. So I'm just considering this linear differential equation homogeneous. That's why I'm taken right hand side equal to 0. So we have dy by dx minus m times y equal to 0. What is the value of m? M is just a constant number. It is just a constant. Okay, comparing this equation, this differential equation with well-known form of linear differential equation that you have studied in engineering mathematics 2, dy by dx plus p of x times y is equal to this q of x. Okay, now let us compare this differential equation with this. So we obtain p of x minus m, and the value of q of x, that is right hand side, it is equal to 0. Okay, so our next aim is to find integrating factor, because our final aim is to find the solution of this given differential equation. Okay, so integrating factor is what? E to the power integration of that p of x dx. What is the value of p of x? It is equal to minus m. So I'm just substituting here e to the power integration of minus m dx, but minus m is a constant. We can pull it outside of the integral sign. So integration of dx, we left with x only. So e to the power mx. This is the integrating factor. So what is the solution? The solution, you know the formula. In case of linear differential equation, once you find the integrating factor, the formula is what? Y times, to get the solution, y times integrating factor is equal to integration of right hand side q times integrating factor dx plus c, isn't it? That the formula you have studied already. So using that formula, I'm just putting the values y as it is. Integrating factor is what? E to the power minus x mx. Okay, written here is equal to right hand side. What is the q? Q is nothing but the 0. So this whole integral becomes 0, and another constant, say it is c. So y times e to the power minus mx is equal to c, and therefore after multiplying both sides by e to the power positive mx, we get y is equal to c times e to the power mx. So we can see whenever you deal with the differential equation, you are going to get the solution in terms of exponential function. Okay, then what is the use of this exponential function? Okay, let me go ahead so that you will understand what is the importance of this exponential function. Let me take another example. So I'm taking higher order differential equation. Last example we seen first order differential equation, just order is 1. But what about higher order differential equation? And that is the main intention that we are going to study higher order differential equation in this course. We are not going to learn only first order. OK, so let's consider second order differential equation d2y by dx square minus 3 dy by dx plus 2 times y equal to 0. Obviously, right hand side contains 0 only, and the coefficient, look at the coefficient of every term, 1, -3, 2, they are all constant. So obviously this is homogeneous linear differential equation. Okay, now talking about that phi of d, what is that phi of d? That phi of d is nothing but they take y common. So if you take y common and if you use the notation, let me remind you that about that notation, we are just using d by dx is nothing but the capital D. Okay, so if you put d by dx is equal to capital D in this expression, what will be happen? We get d square for corresponding to this term minus 3 as it is, d corresponding to this term plus 2 as it is, and outside of this bracket I'm just taking y common. So outside of bracket we left with y, and right hand side as it is, that is equal to 0. So that phi of d, so comparing with that, phi of d is nothing but this operator d square minus 3d plus 2. OK, so it looks like phi of d times y equal to 0. OK, now what is the way to find the solution? In case of finding the solution, you have to consider this phi of d equal to 0, and that is called as the auxiliary equation. OK, this is another important point. So first we know homogeneous differential equation. So in case of homogeneous differential equation, you have to put d by dx is equal to capital D. So we will get the expression in terms of capital D. So I am not equating y equal to 0. I'm just equating coefficient of y after the term which is inside the bracket, that is calling phi of d equal to 0. That is called as the auxiliary equation. So we can see auxiliary equation is nothing but this. OK, auxiliary equation. So after getting auxiliary equation, our aim is to find roots. Here a little bit right hand side of the page you can see arrow and roots. OK, so our aim is to find the roots of that polynomial. It looks like a polynomial in terms of d. So our aim is to find the roots, but how to get roots? So choice is your, use calculator or use factorization method or use synthetic division or use quadratic formula. OK, choice is your. So I am here going to use factorization. So for factorization, what I need product 2. I need two numbers whose product must be 2 and whose addition must be -3. So I'm just taking -2 and -1. So the product of -2 and -1 is what? 2. Obviously -2 into -1 is 2, and their addition -2 -1 will get me -3. So I can factorize this way: d square minus 2d minus d plus 2 equal to 0. And from the first two term I'm just taking d common, so d in bracket d minus 2, and from the last two terms I'm just taking -1 common, so inside bracket we left with d minus 2. Now we can see d minus 2 we can take common, so I'm taking d minus 2 common, so we get d minus 1 d minus 2 equal to 0, and after equating to the 0 we get d equal to 1, 2. Now how to write the solution? OK, so corresponding to root d equal to 1, we have to write the solution like that: c1 e to the power root 1 times x, and corresponding to second root we have to write the solution c2 e to the power 2 times, that means that root times x, and after taking their addition, that together that addition will represent the solution of this given homogeneous differential equation. Now how directly we can write this c1 e to the power x, c2 e to the power 2x? Now let me remind you last example. OK, so corresponding to this factor, this is one kind, you can say this is one kind of factor, and having root as a minus, having root m, because if you consider this differential equation in the same way, just 1 minute now. OK, so I can write this as d minus m times y equal to 0, and therefore after getting auxiliary equation we get d equal to m, that is nothing but the root. And look at this last solution. If you use this method to find the solution, we will get y is equal to c e to the power that root times x. So this is what corresponding to this factor. But in case of higher order differential equation, that is second order differential equation, we get two factors. One is what d minus 1 and another is what d minus 2. So corresponding to d minus 1 y, we get this solution y is equal to e to the power x, and corresponding to d minus 2 times y is equal to 0, we get this factor. We get this value of y is equal to e to the power 2x, and therefore their addition together and constant times, these are the arbitrary constants c1 and c2, we get the complete solution, or you can say the solution of this homogeneous differential equation. So that builds the intuition that you have to consider auxiliary equation, you have to find the solution, and after getting the roots, that solution means after getting the roots, you have to write it in terms of exponential function, and after writing exponential function, take the addition, that will be the represents the solution of the given homogeneous differential equation. Are you clear up to this? Any doubt? Yes.
हेलो सर.
Yes.
सर आपने एग्जांपल में जितनी 0 डिग्री का एरिया रहता है ना, उतने उसके रूट आते क्या?
हाँ, correct. There is a relation between order of the differential equation and root number of roots. For example, if you deal with the third order differential equation, then it must have 3 roots. Total number of roots must be 3. Then they can be equal, they can be distinct, they can be real and distinct, or they can be complex number. So that's why we need to make separate cases for depending upon that nature of that roots. Yeah, any other doubt? So are you understand that why we are writing the solution in terms of exponential function? That is important. Yeah. Very good. If you feel any doubt can be small, can be big. If you feel, yeah.
So can you explain the exponential part again? Why you're writing it in the exponential form?
Function. Okay. Let me revise it.
So.
Yeah, if you consider dy by dx minus m times y, this kind of differential equation. OK, so corresponding to this differential equation, if you compare this with linear differential equation that you have studied in a engineering mathematics 2 course. So let us compare dy by dx plus p of x times y is equal to q of x. OK, so here we can obtain the values of p of x and q of x. Let me just erase this so it will not create disturbance. Okay, so corresponding to this differential equation, if we compare with the linear differential equation, we can obtain the values of p of x as minus m, and the value of q of x, that is right hand side, is nothing but the 0. And there is a well-known method to find the solution of linear differential equation. You have to find the integrating factor. So what is the formula for integrating factor? It is simply e to the power integration of p of x dx. But what is the value of p of x here? It is minus m, which is constant. OK, so e to the power, I'm just substituting that value, integration of minus m dx. So minus m is constant, so we can take it outside of integral sign. So what is the integration of dx? It is simply x. So we get the integrating factor as e to the power minus m times x. Now, what is the formula for getting the solution in case of linear differential equation? The formula is what? You have to write y in terms into integrating factor is equal to integration of q into integrating factor dx plus c. This is the formula. Now we already obtained integrating factor. We have y, so I'm writing y. Integrating factor is what? E to the power minus mx. OK, is equal to q of x. Q of x is what? Already found, it is 0. So 0 times e to the power minus mx dx plus c, constant as it is. Now this whole integral becomes 0 because of this 0. So we will left with c only, constant only, and just multiply both sides by e to the power positive mx. So this left hand side get cancelled. So we will have only y. On the right hand side we have c e to the power mx. So we can see corresponding to this operator, this linear differential equation, this is one kind of factor, you can say. I can write this as t minus m times y equal to 0. Now let us observe this factor here. if we factorize the auxiliary equation, this is one factor d minus 1 and this is another factor d minus 2. So we have two possibilities. What possibilities? D minus 1 y is equal to 0 or d minus 2 times y equal to 0. OK, so d minus 1 y equal to 0. So corresponding to that, what we are getting according to the last example. According to the last example, directly we can write the solution in terms of exponential and observe the relation between root and that exponential term. Here we can see root of that factor is what? M. If we compare with the 0, obviously d equal to m you are going to get. So we can see y is equal to arbitrary constant c times e to the power m times x. OK, so corresponding to first factor we have d minus 1 times y equal to 0. So obviously corresponding to this factor we are going to get the solution c1 times y is equal to c1 times e to the power x. Because of that root is nothing but the 1. So I can write 1 times x. And corresponding to second factor, look at this second factor d minus 2. So corresponding to second factor we can get the solution y is equal to another arbitrary constant c2 times e to the power that root. What is root here? 2 times x, and their addition will gives us complete solution of this homogeneous differential equation, because there is a relation between order of the differential equation and number of arbitrary constants. So if order is 2, then its solution must contains 2 arbitrary constants. That's why we are written here c1 and c2 arbitrary constants. Are you understand the relation between exponential function and the solution of the homogeneous differential equation? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So in the, as far as your exam is concerned, we are not going to study every time. We are not going to follow a procedure like this, finding integrating factor and then getting the solution in terms of exponential. Directly what we will do, the process is very simple. Just consider this is a differential equation provided to you. You have to consider the auxiliary equation. Auxiliary equation means what? You have to write the in terms of capital D. So this term which is inside this bracket, you have to equate to the 0. That is called as the auxiliary equation. And after getting auxiliary equation, you have to find the roots. So after getting roots, if they are real and distinct, so obviously corresponding to that, you are writing the solution c1 e to the power root times x. And corresponding to this another root 2, you are writing the solution c2 e to the power that root 2 times x. OK, but what about if we get roots real and repeated? So there are 4 possibilities. The first possibility is that if the roots are real and distinct, here we can see roots are real and distinct. That's why we are writing the solution in this way. But what about roots are real and repeated? What about roots are complex, and what about roots are complex and repeated? So there are 4 cases that we are going to study now. So let me generalize this just for your understanding. I have taken this particular example. So our already intuition is built now. Let me go ahead for generalization. If phi of d equal to 0, phi of d equal to 0 means what? Whatever the operator auxiliary equation you are considering, like that. Here we observe that phi of d is nothing but this term. So like that in generalization we have phi of d is equal to 0. That is auxiliary equation. If that auxiliary equation has m1, m2, m3 up to m suffix n. Why m suffix n? Because we are dealing with nth order linear differential equation. Let me remind you that notation again. Phi of d times y is equal to f of x. Here we obtain that phi of d in terms of polynomial in terms of that d. OK, so we are considering same phi of d having order of the given differential equation is n in general. So that's why I have written the roots up to n. So if phi of d is equal to 0 has m1, m2 up to m suffix n roots, which all are real and distinct, then the way of writing the solution. OK, let me generalize this. Corresponding to this root, first root m1, we are writing the solution c1 e to the power m1x. OK, corresponding to second root m2, we are writing the solution c2 e to the power m2x. Corresponding to third, we are writing c3 e to the power m3x, and so on. Up to last root, that is m suffix n, we are writing the solution c suffix n e to the power m suffix n x, and their addition, taking their addition will gives the complete solution of this homogeneous differential equation if the right hand side is 0. OK, so this is the first case. The first case is about roots are real and distinct. Here in the last example, we can see roots are real and distinct. Real means what? It does not include any imaginary part. That is nothing but the real roots. And distinct means what? They are not equal. That is the meaning of distinct. So one can say, so 2 and minus 2. They are all distinct because there is a negative sign. So 2 and minus 2 are not same. They are distinct. Okay. You may have confusion. So therefore, the first case is that if phi of d equal to 0 has a distinct roots and distinct roots, then way of writing the solution is c1 e to the power m1x, c2 e to the power m2x, and so on up to c sub x and e to the power m1x. Are you understand this first case number 1? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
I'm just generalizing from particular case to general case. OK, so henceforth, whenever we came across differential equation, you just have to find auxiliary equation. You just have to find roots, and after getting roots, if the roots, whatever you roots get, if they are real and distinct, so obviously you have to follow case number 1 to write the solution of the given differential equation without doing any other procedure. OK. So what about if the roots gets repeated? So let us consider second case. If roots of phi of d equal to 0 are real and some are repeated. I am not saying that all roots are repeated. I am saying some of the roots are real and distinct, and some of them are real but they are get repeated. In that case, what is the way of writing solution? Is the same as that of case number 1, or is there any change? Yes, there is little bit change, and that change here. If phi of d equal to 0, auxiliary equation, I'm calling this as auxiliary equation, then the solution is in case of repeated roots. So I'm just considering 2 roots get repeated, first 2 roots, the m1 is equal to m2, these first 2 roots get repeated, and remaining m3 onwards, they are all distinct from that m1, m2, and they are not equal to each other. OK, so m3 onward, they are all distinct, and only m1 is equal to m2. So in that case, look at this solution. I'm writing the solution y equal to c1 plus c2 times x, and outside of bracket e to the power that root, first root m1 times x. And for the remaining case, for the remaining corresponding to that other roots, we will follow case number 1 to write the solution. So c1 only change in the first 2 terms corresponding to m1, m2, c1 plus c2 x e to the power m1 times x, and plus so on up to cn e to the power m1x, m suffix n x. So what will be the change? Just change in the first 2 term, and for the remaining solution will be follows from the case number 1, that is c3 e to the power m3x, c4 e to the power m4x, and so on. But change will be in the first two terms, c1 plus c2x. Why? Because roots get repeated 2 times. So that's why we have to go up to c1 plus c2x. What about if the roots gets repeated 3 times? What will be the change? You have to do the change. You have to go up to x square, that is c1 plus c2x plus c3x square e to the power m1 times x, c4, and all other remaining roots are distinct, m4 onwards. So we have to follow case number 1 to write the solution, remaining solution. OK, so these are the 2 cases.
Excuse me.
Case number,
So can
yeah.
you please explain again?
OK, in case of case number 2, if roots of that auxiliary equation are real and some are repeated. OK, some are repeated means what? So for example, I am considering n roots, and out of that n roots, first 2 roots m1 is equal to m2, they are repeated. That means they are equal to each other. OK, so in case of equal roots corresponding to that root, what will be the solution? Is the same way we have to write c1 e to the power m1x plus c2 e to the power m2x, but they are equal. So after taking c1 plus c2, but we can take e to the power m1x common, so it will remain with c1 plus c2 times e to the power m1x, and that will give another constant, say it is c4 or k, so k times. But there will be the contradiction, because if order of the differential equation 2, then its solution must contains that much number of arbitrary constants. But in case of you writing, if you want to write the solution like that case number 1, you are not going to get complete solution. So for that case, what will be the change? The change is little bit here. Y is equal to c1 plus c2 times x. I am just multiplying the second arbitrary constant by x, and then taking outside of bracket e to the power that whatever that root is repeated, that e to the power m1 times x. And for the remaining roots, they are all real and distinct, so it will the solution will follows from the case number 1. So corresponding to this real and distinct roots, we are writing the solution c3 onward, c3 e to the power m3x, like that, case number 1. But corresponding to repeated root, we have to write the solution c1 plus c2x e to the power m1x. Again, what about if the roots get repeated 3 times? For example, if you have m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m3. So this time we are going to write the solution c1 plus c2x plus c3x square, and then outside of bracket that repeated root e to the power m1 times x. It doesn't matter whether you are taking m1, m2, m3 because they are all equal. So, and for the corresponding to other real and distinct root, you are writing the solution it follows from the case number 1. Now, why do we need that x? Why? That you may have this question, why we have to write the solution by using this way, c1 plus c2x. Okay, so let me give the proof. Consider case number 1. If two roots get repeated, m1 is equal to m2. These are the two roots and they are repeated. So I'm just considering one particular example so that you will understand it, why we are going to use this x and x square onward. So d minus m1 square times y equal to 0. So what is the auxiliary equation? Obviously the term which is inside of this bracket is auxiliary equation. So we have d minus, this can be written as d minus m1 into d minus m1 times y. Because of that square, I'm just expanding d minus, I'm just writing in terms of factors. So d minus m1 times y equal to 0. So let me consider d minus m1 times y equal to u, say another function, because there is a possibility either the d minus m1 times y can be equal to 0, or this d minus m1 times y can be equal to 0, or this whole term can be equal to 0. Okay, so I'm just considering this as the first factor d minus m1 times y. I'm just letting it as u. Okay, so apply both side by apply operator d minus m1 on both sides. I'm just multiplying both sides by d minus m1. So on the left hand side we get with we left with d minus m1 whole square times y, and on the right hand side of this we get d minus m1 times u equal to, this is equal to 0. Why this is equal to 0? Because look at this term, d minus m1 whole square y equal to 0. Okay, so this term become equal to 0. Now obviously this term has to be equal to 0. Okay, so if we have d minus m1 times u equal to 0, then what can you say about the solution? You already familiar with this, like that equation dy by dx minus m times y equal to 0. You are directly writing the solution as y is equal to c times e to the power m times x. Remember, see, let me show you. This case. Yeah, because of this. So corresponding to this term, corresponding to this factor, we are writing the solution as u as c1 e to the power m1x. Okay, directly you don't have to follow that integrating factor and like that. Directly you can write this solution. Okay, so we get the value of u. Now just substitute this value in this expression. I'm just substituting that value in this expression. So what will be the change? So we get another equation d minus m1 y is equal to u, and the value of u we obtain this. So d minus m1 times y is equal to c1 e to the power m1x. Okay, now let me use traditional notation, that is dy by dx. So I'm just replacing capital D by this dy by dx. So I'm writing corresponding to that dy by dx minus m1 as it is times this y equal to right hand side c1 e to the power m1x. Now again compare this with linear differential equation, like that we have already studied. So value of p of x is what we get, corresponding to value of p of x is -1. Okay, and right hand side that is q of x. So we get the right hand side q of x as c1 e to the power, this q of x as c1 e to the power m1x. Okay, now what can you say about integrating factor? So the integrating factor is nothing but this formula, e to the power integration of p of x dx. So what is the value of p of x? It is -m1. Okay, so integration of e to the power minus m1 dx. So minus m1 is obviously constant. We are taking outside of integral. So we left with e to the power minus m1 x. So we get this as a integrating factor. OK, now what is the general solution? The general solution, again, same formula, y times integrating factor is equal to integration of q times integrating factor. So y times integrating factor is e to the power minus m1 x. And on the right hand side, integration of q, but this time q is not equal to 0. Q is what? C1 e to the power m1x. So I'm just writing that C1 e to the power m1x. And what is the integrating factor? Integrating factor is e to the power this minus m1x. So I'm just writing e to the power minus m1x. And they get cancelled to each other because e to the power m1x, e to the power minus m1x, they get cancelled to each other. So we left with only constant term inside integral sign. And this is another constant, say it is k. OK, so C1 we can take outside. And what is the integration of dx? I forget here to write dx. Actually dx is there. OK, and what is the integration of C1? It is just constant. So integration of C1 is what? C1x, and this another constant, say it is k. So multiply both sides by e to the power positive m1x. So on the left hand side we get y, and on the right hand side we get C1x e to the power positive m x plus k times e to the power positive m x m1x. OK, so now we can take e to the power positive m1x common. So we get C1x plus k e to the power m1x. And lastly, we get the solution y is equal to C1x plus C2 e to the power m1x. So that's why in case of repeated root, yes.
Can you explain again from integrating factor? I actually missed it. Sorry.
OK. OK. Let me explain it once again from the integrating factor. So the formula for integrating factor is what? E to the power integration of p of x dx. And what is the value of p of x? P of x is nothing but the -1 after comparing with this differential equation. So I'm just putting that value p of x e to the power integration of minus m1 dx, but minus m1 is just a constant we can take outside of integral. So what is the integration of dx? Integration of dx is nothing but the x. So we get this as a integrating factor e to the power minus m1x. And the solution, the general solution of this given differential equation can be obtained by using formula. What is the formula? That formula is y into integrating factor is equal to integration of q into integrating factor dx plus another constant c. So I'm using same formula, y into integrating factor, that is integrating factor. OK, on the right hand side q, what is the value of q? It is c1 e to the power m1x. OK, and into integrating factor, that is e to the power minus m1x dx plus another constant. Instead of c I'm using k. OK, and this e to the power m1x and e to the power negative m1x get cancelled to each other. So we left with c1 inside integral sign. So what is the integration of constant c1? It is just c1x, and this is a constant as it is k. And now multiply on the next in the next step, multiply both sides by e to the power positive m1x. So on the left hand side we will left with the y, and on the right hand side we will left with c1x e to the power positive m1x plus k times e to the power m1x. And we can take e to the power m1x common. So inside bracket we have c1x plus k, outside bracket e to the power m1x. And look at this pattern. That's why there is a x. Now you can see the reason behind why I'm just using that x in case of repeated root. The reason is here. Here is the proof. In case of repeated roots, if we have m1 is equal to m2, then in the final solution definitely you are going to get the solution in terms of c1x plus c2. Now you might be wondering, sir, but you in the solution you have written vice versa, like that you have not written c1x and then c2. I am writing here c1 plus c2x. Then what will change? There will be no change. It doesn't matter whether you are writing c1x or you're writing c1 plus c2x. It is not going to change your solution. It will be the solution. OK, it doesn't matter. Position doesn't matter whether you're writing from constant terms to onward or from variable to in a decreasing manner or in ascending manner, whatever. It doesn't going. It will not affect the solution, final solution. OK, so that's why in case of repeated root, we have to consider this solution as c1 plus c2x instead of considering only c1 e to the power m1x plus c2 e to the power m1x. OK, that's the reason. And what about in case of roots get repeated 3 times? Obviously, you have to extend your thing up to x square. So here in case of 3, if roots get repeated 3 times, so corresponding to that, you have to go c1 plus c2x because root repeated 3 times. So up to c3x square e to the power m1x. If it is repeated 4 times, then you have to go up to x cube. C1 plus C2x plus C3x square plus C4x cube, like that. So I hope you understand up to case number 2. Any doubt in case number 2? Yeah.
No, sir.
Everything is clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Because of that, for your understanding, I have provided one proof considering 2 repeated roots, and after getting the following the process, we get the final solution in terms of C1x plus C2, and that's the reason why in case of case number 2 we are including that C1 plus C2x factor. Okay, that's the reason. So tomorrow up to, so I think time is over. In the tomorrow's lecture, we are going to study case number 3, that is if some roots are complex, and case number 4, that is if roots are complex and repeated. Okay, and before that, in tomorrow's lecture, I will go through some examples so that your all concepts will get clear about first 2 cases, that is if roots are real and distinct and some roots are get repeated. Okay, so the little bit on the right hand side I have written the process. Process is very simple. Consider auxiliary equation. Let me tell you one example. Okay, so consider this example. Solve the following differential equation: d2y by dx square plus 3 times dy by dx plus 2 times y equal to 0. Look at the right hand side of this page. Process, auxiliary equation, then roots, then solution according to nature of roots. According to nature of roots means what? Case number 1, case number 2. Okay, so consider auxiliary equation. So I'm just replacing dy by dx by capital D. So we obtain d square plus 3d, 3 as it is, capital D plus 2, and y we are not considering y because we are just considering auxiliary equation. So equal to 0. Now let us factorize it. D square plus 3d can be written as 2d plus d plus 2 equal to 0. And now from the first 2 term we can take d common, so we left with d times d plus 2, and from the last 2 terms we can take 1 common, so inside bracket we have d plus 2. Now again we can take d plus 2 common, so we get d plus 1, d plus 2 equal to 0, and therefore we obtain the roots d equal to corresponding to this minus 1 and corresponding to this minus 2. So we get roots real and they all are distinct. So we obtain 2 roots. First root is -1, second root is -2. Obviously they are real because there is no imaginary part, and that's why also they are distinct. So from case number 1, we can say directly from case number 1, we can say solution is C1 e to the power first root times x. What is first root? -1 times x plus another arbitrary constant C2 e to the power second root, that is -2 times x. And it follows from the case number 1. So we know the reason why do we write the solution in terms of exponential function. We already gone through that. Now what about repeated root? Let me show you one example of repeated root. So consider this differential equation d minus 4 whole square y equal to 0. So auxiliary equation, the term which is inside. So d minus 4 whole square equal to 0. So therefore d minus 4 equal to 0 or d minus 4 equal to 0. So we obtain 2 roots, d equal to 4, 4. Now look at these roots. They are real and as well as they are repeated. So here the roots are real and repeated, and that's why we have to write the solution in terms of this C1 plus C2 x e to the power that root times x. Okay, that will be the change. So this is about case number 1 and case number 2. I hope you understand this. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yes, sir. So